Jane Eyre by Charlette Bronte. This novel I read, it's a very interesting novel. I recommend it. In fact, the texts of literature in United States have this novel as a part of the normal curriculum. And I was attracted because of three major reasons. One is the way this lady, Jane Eyre, describes her feelings. The second is how she describes people, not only by the physical characteristics, but because of the traits and peculiarities of these people. And finally, because it has some similarities with another novel of Siddhartha, when the author really takes the reader into the deepest feelings of the personage. Okay, so let's discuss each of these characteristics of the novel Jane Eyre. But first, I am going to summarize the argument. Jane Eyre is a girl that is orphan and was raised by her aunt. The story is suited in a British environment of 19th century. Although the environment can be a little old for our days, however, the personalities described are very valid, and most of the reactions to human interaction are exactly the same, either in 19th century or today. So, she is an orphan, and her aunt didn't want it because she, Jane Eyre, wasn't one of them. The aunt sent her to an internship in a school where Jane spent most of the childhood and early teenagers years. Even she becomes a teacher in this school after she finished their years. But finally, when she becomes 18 years old, she decided to go outside and get a work. And I suppose in that epoch, in 19th century, it would be considered very weird, very rare, that a girl works for herself. So Jane Eyre, this personage, describes the courage required to start this adventure of life, and when doing so, because she was a young lady, she has to deal with men. She has to put herself limits between what is correct and what is not correct. And that's why one of my first arguments in favor of this novel is that in this novel you can get some useful hints, useful advices to determine when a relationship could be considered love or not, which is a very recurrent topic in these days. Even there is a movie that it's called How to Know If This Is Love or Not. But in this novel, Jane Eyre dissects the feelings that she has for her boss when she got a job as a teacher, as a private teacher of a child in a very accommodated family. she gets attracted to her boss. But before declare that she is feeling love, she analyzes why is she feeling that and what are the limits of that particular condition. At the end of the story, Jane gets married with her boss, but really I think the major topic here is how to rationally decide if you feel love for someone else. Particularly intense is the chapter when she realizes that her master, her boss, was married, and she narrates not only the judgment that she have to put herself to decide what to do, but also what she wanted to accomplish. So after some chapters you realize that the wife of her boss really was a sick person, a person that needed a psychiatric treatment, and finally she died. So at the end of the novel, Jane Eyre is free to do what she wanted, and she wanted to marry her boss.